Here we go.
Farm Companion.
We're a tight schedule. It's Monday. Week's all messed up.
Tight and right.
Tight and
Well,
right.
we went a little long with Skip there, so.
Yep. So, anyways, we're filming this on Monday, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, and I guess they won't get to hear that Skip pod until maybe the week.
Yeah,
after.
so we've got a pod coming up with Skip on herbicides, which we've been talking about anyways on the podcast side of.
Which is probably
for
where
Farm
we
Companion.
go here for 10 or 15 minutes. It's like we need to get some cocktails ordered and stuff. Like this pre-emergent on the beans seems like a big deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, so anyone listening is probably in the same boat as us. I mean, we've made the migration to like Roundup Ready beans, right? So it's like either Gly at or before planting the beans, right? And then normally a Gly treatment at least once during the summer, sometimes twice, depending on how the weed control is.
That's all you've ever planted, right? Have you ever planted?
Yeah, that's all I've ever planted.
Yeah, I guess since you say that, there was one year I planted the
Conventional beans.
oh, who made those? Eagle Seed.
Oh, yeah, but they're Roundup Ready, though.
Were they?
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
Because I don't. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but yeah, they could have been. You're right.
Yep. I did
Then
plant.
yeah, I have always planted it.
I did plant non-Roundup Ready corn the first year in Kentucky, and that was I mean, it wasn't a disaster, but like I just had major weed issues during corn growing that I'm like, I didn't know how to control it.
Could you do a pre-emergent on those?
Yeah. In
so
retrospect,
that would have done it.
in fact, I sprayed atrazine late on them to try to like slow it down, like slow the weed growth down. And I think it did help. I mean, I had great corn that year, but like it was real worrisome, like the way that the grasses were competing with the corn.
Interesting.
And I didn't know what to do with it, you know?
And it helped.
It did.
And, interesting. I wouldn't think atrazine would do anything like after it's growing.
Well, I think it just slowed its growth.
Huh.
Like it didn't kill it or anything.
Right.
But
interesting.
yeah. But and part of that was because I was paying $80 a bag for non-Roundup Ready corn. It's like $200 a bag for Roundup Ready corn.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Come to find out, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. Yeah, I just nuke it at this point. But so you guys will hear this with Skip in a couple of weeks, but Skip's like, hey, I think you guys are crazy if you're not doing a cocktail for pre-emergent in Roundup Ready beans. So essentially, like you might have Roundup in the tank, but you also have a pre-emergent in that tank, so that once those beans go in after the first rain, there are no weeds coming up that you're basically going to have to round up again sometime later. Like it's going to control those and it's going to let your beans take off. In theory, it makes a ton of sense.
He rattled off a handful of them that were like I've never heard of before. So, but I think the answer was go to your co-op wherever you're getting your chemical and ask them, hey, what's the pre-emergent cocktail for beans? And they'll tell you. Yeah.
So I'm probably too late in my area, my farms this year, just because I sprayed them already, and so I won't spray them again until after I plant.
I may order mine today. Dad's going Wednesday.
Yep.
To get fertilizer.
Yep.
I may place the order for those cocktail chemicals and have him pick those up on Wednesday, and then I'll spray Friday, and I bet we'll drill next week.
Yep. Yeah. So there you go. So I think that's a big one. Anybody that's listening here that deals with like water hemp and pigweed and some of these other things, thistles that are like tough to deal with, like maybe that would help as well. I don't know. Like, but the crazy thing is like we're not farmers, so we're not trying to yield out like X, bushels per acre or anything. But I mean, you want a healthy food plot. You want a massive amount of grain being produced, or even in the case we were just talking about clovers and brassicas and all these other things, it's like you want to maximize those green sources when they need that. I thought it was really interesting because I basically use everything on contact clethodims. Like Skip was basically saying like he doesn't even have to spray clover plots anymore. They just grow lush clover and there are no weeds in them.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, you got to stay on top of them. Those weeds, it's like every year.
It's in the seed bed.
Every time they get up, and they're putting more seed heads out, and they're getting back in the soil, and it's just like a vicious cycle unless you get ahead of it and start to use stuff like a pre-emergent too to give it a longer span where stuff literally can't grow up out of it other than what you want.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll be fighting it forever.
Yep. So I think that, and I mean, obviously, and we've had this conversation, like even with fall plots, like a drill is critical.
Yeah. We're going to have to get one eventually. Or, well, I don't know. I'm doing okay with renting one, and I mean, the reality is, I'm not going to pay $40,000 for, and that's the one. That Great Plains that I rent for like
is the
$5 an acre or something like that is the nice one. So it's like I
just don't use it. Like, I mean, I have that one. It was $6,500, and like the only hard part, and he even mentioned it there, is like, hey, I'd rather be planting into dry soil than moist. Is like, it doesn't work real well with that machine because it's not heavy enough. Doesn't have enough weight to cut into the soil. So like, I need a little bit of softer soil just to get seed depth for corn, especially, and beans. I'm not worried. Obviously, it's perfectly fine with any of the fall plot type stuff or clovers or anything like that. But
is that a no-till? Does it have the no-till? Whatever
Coulters.
Coulters.
Yeah, it is. They make a
Coulter's the thing that closed. That's the only difference between
Coulter's the opener.
Oh,
that's the actual like in the ground cutting. Then it's coming back and dropping. And then you have wheels usually that close. That's the one thing I don't have is like there is no closing mechanism on those things.
Oh,
so
is yours a no-till drill?
Yes.
So what would be a non-no-till drill?
It wouldn't have the front cutters to. You would be just have a standard drill into soft soil, like that's what most farmers
what do you
have.
Mean a drill?
So it would be the unit is a drill. The reason it's no-till is because it has front cutters on it, coulters, to cut into the soil.
Yeah.
A normal drill, like even a farmer's corn planter,
and
doesn't have that.
It's coming through a tube, right? And doesn't it drop them right behind the coulters?
Nope. Coulter is the front. And then there's an actual dropper into the spacing where the tube's coming down in. So you have two sets. You have a front cutter, and then you have the actual coulter aspect of things where it's dropping in.
Interesting.
Yep. In a drill, right, you don't have those front cutters.
Right.
So like a farmer.
Like a grain drill.
Right. That's why a farmer disc all their fields before they.
Because it's not cutting.
Correct. Yeah. It's not a no-till. It's just a drill.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yep. So this is a no-till.
I think I knew that, but I just wanted to hear it from
you. This is a no-till, right? It's just, it's not heavy. Like I put an extra 300 pounds or 500 pounds, 400 pounds on it. And it's heavier, but still like, I mean, you're talking the difference. I think mine weighs 1,400 pounds with the extra weight of 1,500 pounds. And a normal drill is like 2,000 plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you run into tractor limitations. You run into...
It sucks just not having like the right tool for the job.
I don't want to... I mean, the other thing is like, and maybe it's a future limitation, is like I can't... Like I can travel with the one I have, and it's like the max of my trailer, lengthwise and weight-wise. Yeah. There is no way I'm traveling with a 2,100 pound drill.
Yeah, well, and drill seems to be one of the last things that we kind of like crowdsource. You know what I mean? It's like we either get them from the co-op or you know
somebody.
You have the farmer. I do the actual planting, or you've got like in Illinois. I think there's a handful of like there's some community drills that kind of get used.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because you use it for like 2 days, 3 days, and then you're done.
10,
right? Like, and then maybe I come back in the fall. Like my fall plots in Kentucky looked awesome. It was drought, and
I'd love to drill my brassicas. That'd be sick.
I drilled brassicas with some oats and Austrian winter peas in them, and it looks great. In fact, those plots still look great now in the spring. So yeah, I mean, those are the things that, in the grand scheme of it, it makes sense. It's just the cost on those things is just insane. It's insane. $40,000 to $30,000. I mean, even some of the hunting type drills are still 15 to 20.
I mean, I would go so far as to say like all of the hunters that that are planting with drills, they got them. Like they didn't buy those drills because they're so friggin' expensive.
Oh, you mean like from a celebrity side?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they absolutely got them.
Yeah.
They did not buy them.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, give us one.
Yeah, we'll take one. Yeah, or I mean, if you've got a tight enough community, like I really do believe that if like 4 people could pitch in $5,000 each, then you're in a good shape because
that'd get you halfway.
It literally takes 24 to 48 hours, and they're done with it. You can then go. The next guy can use it.
Yeah, that would be the way. But the problem is, then you got 4 guys that need it at one time.
Yeah, and I mean, there's enough time spacing there that like in the course of a week, everybody could get their shit in.
Yeah.
It's not that sensitive unless you're planting.
That's also not enough money. You know what I mean? For
some of the smaller ones, not like a Great Plains or anything. No, you need to pitch 10 inch.
Yeah.
And then you need to have the tractor to pull it.
And the tractor. It's expensive.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's part of it. But I mean, we've got some. We're talking about home farms getting beans and corn in the ground in the next.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Week or so, give or take, and then we've got a trip out to Illinois here coming up soon to put beans in the ground there. And that's kind of where we're at. Minerals are out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get time to trim stands. We got a lot to fit in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the grain and the switch is the priority. I do really want to get those fence posts pulled and that whole thing kind of shaped up. If we had time, I'd say, well, let's go trim out 1 or 2 of those stands. But I don't know if we'll have time or not. But
probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of spraying and drilling because somebody's drilling and the other one's spraying right behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So and per this, some different cocktail mix probably.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully that might save us a trip in June.
Yep, which would be awesome.
So that's good to know.
Yeah, and we've got better soils out there. I'm not as worried about fertilization in June.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I mean that's kind of the short and sweet of it. I mean we're in it at this point, cranking along, thinking about farm structures. Things are growing. We're seeing velvet growing. Yeah, it's just kind of this is the weird 30 to 60 day period where we've got a lot of stuff going on, but 60 days from now, it will be high gear thinking about killing big whitetails again.
Well, it'll be cool. You could get some cameras out towards the end of next month even and potentially start to recognize some deer. I mean, as we've been doing this, time is slipping away type of thing. Yeah. In a good way. It's hey, it's going to come up here again here at some point. That's what Mick just texted us today was Iowa Point.
Oh, wow.
Started over.
I got to buy the kid. I think my dad and the kids have 2 or 3 points now.
Started all over. That's cool.
They're going to draw before I'll have to be the guide or something.
Yeah.
So I probably won't draw.
It's all right.
By then.
Yeah.
So, well, cool. Well, we appreciate everyone listening to this quickie on the hunt. Man, farm companion.
Great.
I wish it was hunt
farm
companion. I wish it was hunt companion. 2 more months, 3 more months. We'll get there. But anyways, farm companion, and we'll catch you on next Sunday.
Farm companion.
Take me